Welcome back. I am Intrepid Emma and I create content about entrepreneurship, copy, and content writing. So if you're an entrepreneur who's looking for tips and inspiration and really concrete details on how to do content marketing and how to do copywriting, you've come to the right place. Alright, so today we're going to have a quick video that is about where people get stuck when they start copywriting. And it's not necessarily the formulas, because you can find those, so you can find coaches who can help you with it, like me. But it's actually with kind of the mentality that you go into copywriting with. So people will ask, isn't it kind of sleazy to do copywriting? Like, I'm selling them something. Isn't that kind of inauthentic? And my answer is no, it's not inauthentic. Okay, so I'm going to give you an analogy. With copywriting, think of it like when you write an essay, right? So in university or high school, you learn how to write essays that are 5 paragraphs. So you have the introduction, you have 3 paragraphs that further the argument, and then you have a conclusion. Within each of those sections, you also have even more specific pieces. So like in the introduction, you have also a thesis and usually a statement of enumeration that just says paragraph 1 is going to be about this, 2 and 3. Pretty simple, right? It gives you a structure to work within. And the reason that structure exists is because it's very effective at conveying an argument in a way that's clear to the reader. They understand what the point of the essay is, what you're trying to convince them of. You're giving them topics on each of those paragraphs, descriptions, evidence, right? And then you're summarizing for them at the end and showing them why this is actually relevant to them, or why this matters in the larger scheme of things. Usually there's a little point at the end that kind of furthers the whole thing. Does anybody ask, is my essay authentic? You know, just because it has a formula doesn't make it inauthentic, because it's still your voice that's in the essay, right? It's still your perspective. It's still all the unique topics and evidence that you've compiled together that makes it you, right? It's your perspective, your arguments, your ecosystem, whatever you want to call it, of ideas, and you're furthering a unique argument. And that's the whole point of an essay, right? Is so that you're not just, well, maybe in high school your professor just tells you, okay, I have to write an essay about this, you have a yes or a no. But normally by the time you're in university, right, you're creating essays on something that you actually believe in, or evidence that you can, or conclusions that you can draw from your evidence, right? So you're supposed to write it about something that's new, a perspective that's new, or a unique lens to look at things through. The formula is just the means to get you there. It also helps you with planning. It's very practical in that way. And copywriting formulas are the same, right? So think about the fact that a formula doesn't make it inauthentic. The next thing is the question of whether it's manipulative. I can understand where this thought comes from, right? If you're creating a formula that takes them from point A, maybe they're totally fine in their lives, to point B, which is buy this thing now. It's something that they don't need. Obviously, it's going to feel bad, but that's not what good copywriting is about, right? So the copywriter intentionally chooses their very specific ideal client avatar. So as an entrepreneur, think of who your ideal client is, right? You know what their pain points are. You know what keeps them up at night. You know what they desire more than anything else and what it would take to get them there, right? So with a good copywriting formula, the first thing you really do is go into acknowledging their pain, right? And if it's a pain that the person doesn't have, they're going to self-identify as, hey, this thing isn't for me, I'm going to leave, right? But if it's your ideal client, they're going to say, hey, that sounds exactly like me, or this woman or man finally understands me, right? So you're actually, in that sense, doing them a service by acknowledging their pain and saying, hey, someone else has been there too, because sometimes people don't even know, right? They may not know that there's a name to the thing they're experiencing, or that other people have also gone through it, especially if it's true that your ideal client was you from 10 years ago, you know? You can actually take them on a journey of, hey, I've been there too in that pain, and I know that there's a way out of it because my life right now is a hell of a lot better than it was back then. Whether it's that their life was actually painful and true pain points, or it was just a dissatisfaction, right? Those count as pain points as well. Now, the best thing after that is the fact that you're saying, hey, I get that you had these pains. There is a solution. I'm giving you hope by showing you or painting a picture of, imagine if your life looked like this or your business felt like this, right? And then you're saying, that is actually possible. I've been there too, or my clients have been there too, and they've come through on the other side with all these amazing benefits. So you're saying, your pain is valid. I see it. And it's 100% possible to eliminate that pain or to lessen it or to remove the dissatisfaction in your life and have this satisfying result in this area, right? I'm not saying you have to make ridiculous, bold claims, but if you believe in your product or service, you probably think, hey, it actually does a pretty big, bold thing. It improves people's lives in some way, gives them value in some way. So that's another piece, right? You're saying that their dreams are valid and that they're possible. So if they're your ideal client, reading that copy is not going to feel icky, right? It's not going to be you trying to convince them to buy something they don't really need. You're actually matching someone with a problem to a solution, right? Or a dissatisfaction to a satisfying outcome. You're their guide on that journey, and it's your responsibility to convey that to them. If you want to run a successful business, right? If you want to make money, if you want to serve more people, you have to have enough money to be able to sustain the business, right? You can't constantly do things for free, give free value, and have nothing in return to feed yourself with, right? And if people are really excited about the service, the solution, the product that you offer, they're going to put the value into it as well. They're going to invest in it because they know that their return on investment is even higher. And also, usually, if you've been really great about content marketing on the side, they trust you and they like you, so they're willing to invest with you. They believe in your testimonials. They believe in the results you're promising because they've seen it, right? They've been watching you and getting to know you. So it can feel really good going into copywriting when you realize that you're matching your ideal client, their pain, with a solution to their pain. So I would think of it with this new perspective, that you're actually helping people. This is something I learned from my sales coach as well. Her name's Kendrick Shope. She's incredible. I'll link her down below. She says, selling is helping. If you're selling well, if you're copywriting well, if your business is well designed, you know who your ideal client is, you know the problems they have, and you know that your product or service solves those problems for them. So you're helping them by selling. Right? They can continue to spend another day being dissatisfied or super frustrated or not getting enough sleep or their kid is crying all night long. But if you can give them a solution to that, I really think it's your responsibility to make it as easy as possible for them to invest in that solution. And that's what great copywriting does. So hopefully that shifted your perspective a little bit on copywriting. I'd love to know what your mental beliefs are about copywriting. Does it still feel sleazy and why? And maybe we can kind of troubleshoot that together because I totally see that perspective, but I know that it doesn't have to feel that way at all in the slightest. So we can work through it. Thank you so much for joining me on another episode here on Intrepid Emma, the YouTube channel. I am so grateful that you spent time with me. I'd love it if you gave this video a thumbs up if you liked it and subscribe so you can find out lots more about entrepreneurship, copy, and content writing. I'll be here for you next time. All right, take care.